As hot as we've been, I think I've mastered it. I've got so much stuff growing, it's unbelievable. I have lettuce coming out of my ears. I've got strawberries, tomatoes, and now, look what we're standing in front of, my turmeric. An entire field of turmeric, among other things in there. There's ginger, there's radishes, there's cuttings that I've done from different things like, well, I've got purslane here that I did not grow, which comes up everywhere, but I've got a lot of my different geraniums. Hi, it is Robbie from Southern California, and we're gonna do a zip around as quick as we can because we're going into another heat wave today. So I'm trying to do this while it's still cool before my camera overheats. Hope you're all doing great. This has been phenomenal. I've got all 3 of those back tables and they are jam-packed with turmeric. And let me tell you something, we haven't even finished planting out the rest of it. I have a green tote on the side of the house where I store the turmeric that I am going to grow because you can't freeze it. You can freeze what you're gonna eat because that will never grow, but it keeps all the nutrients and everything in there. So I like freezing it instead of drying it. Then I keep the ones packed in potting soil, no insects, clean it up, put it in there, and then I pull it out in late spring and I start to plant. It's growing. Gary's been pulling it out as fast as he can to plant it, and I've been pulling it out, but it is still growing. And then some of you asked, what do you do with dish pans? I mean, here I've got radishes growing, and some of it went to seed, and that's okay. I can collect the seeds. I can eat the seeds and the flowers and put them in my salads, or let the birds get them. Well, you can grow turmeric in dish pans as well. They're 4.5 gallons, 18 quarts. If you want, you could use the red ones. They kind of color code them, I guess, by size. The red ones are 12 quarts, and then you can go to 8, but 8 is just not big enough for a lot of things. Maybe for a few lettuce, but for the turmeric, I would go with the black ones that are 18 quarts, 4.5 gallons, and it's perfect. So yes, you can, if you don't have flower pots, grow turmeric in dish pans. Let's keep going. Oh, geez. This year has been so strange. I have tomatoes growing all over the ground, which, see all the tomatoes here, has been perfect. Look, they're all through there, all through there. They're down the hill, they're everywhere. It's kept the critters busy. So they stay with the ones that are easy to get to, and they haven't leaped on a lot of my stuff because they have easy feeding. So if they've got some place where they can feed easily and not have to leap into things, it's just worked. Here's the trees. We did not get nectarines on this, like 3. It was not a good year because we had a heat wave in the winter. So when that happened, we lost a lot of the flowers and it never really flowered again. But we'll see what happens next year because a lot of times your fruit trees do 1 year good and 1 year off. So I think let's count this as the off. And maybe I'll think about getting a few more fruit trees in the spring or winter. This is a pomegranate tree as well as my apples, and I'm going to cut the apples down later on. I'm leaving them right now because they've never fruited and they were grown from seed, probably now about 7 years old. Though a friend of mine said it took his 10 years and now he's got more apples than he knows what to do with. Okay, we're gonna look at my mess for a second. No, I have not got to it. Why? Because I am doing so many other things. I'm gonna end up doing a winter garden in here or a fall garden soon. But I'm getting plenty of food. I've got celery somewhere tucked in there, and then I've got broccoli here. If I trim this back, the broccoli will come back. I have been picking squash off the zucchini in the back. I've got green sorrel. This has to come out. These are cannas. They have broken the tote to nothing, but I have a place for them. So I don't want to chop them out and just get rid of them. So I will get to it. And this I absolutely love, my purple tree collard. I mean, it would be far bigger if it was in the ground, or at least I didn't have so much in here. But for now, it's giving me food, but I am getting close to doing something in here. Seriously. But again, I know it's crazy. I have all these gardens that I set up over the years. Not even that many years. Look at more tomatoes. And I enjoy them all. It's like, which one do I want to kind of move away from? Well, you know which one. We're going to go see it in a minute. This one, I decided to go wild. Let the geraniums do their things. I'll trim them back in the winter a little bit. but the birds nest in here. So it works out really good. I've got milkweed in here, geraniums, and I've got different, oh, I saw something. I don't know what I saw jump in there. Probably a bird, because that's what they do in here. And then I've also got the pot marigold, and then I've got nasturtiums. I might get more nasturtiums. I know what to get in here. I'm going to get some zinnias in here, though I do have a lot of snails around here. So I've got to be careful because snails love different seedlings coming up, and especially my zinnias that I plant. All right, so the ponds are just there right now because until we can figure out what we're going to do with it, Gary wants to do some changes. He'll get to it when he has a chance. But I've got the elephant food back there. I've got rosemary growing back there. I mean, it's still nice. It's just that the raccoons come and take a bath and then they just smash everything around. So we kind of let it be for the wildlife. We leave a bowl of water and then they can come do what they want here. We can sit back there when we want. And I think Gary's going to take the bathtub that's way in the back that he brought here, years ago now, quite a few years now. And I think he's going to turn that into a planter when he gets to it. Look at all the aloe vera back there. Isn't that gorgeous? Now that I keep watered, and that's for the hummingbirds and the orioles. They feed on that. And then I've got a bunch of baby cannas there, right there, growing under the trees. And I do have plans for that, so we'll see when I get to it. We did pick all the pomegranates off of that, and I had a big bowl in the kitchen, but I'm going through them. So every day I do a few and I'm freezing them. Kind of have to process them. We haven't gotten to these yet. The other ones are so red. Look how big they are. And they're all through here, all through here. And again, planted by seed. And somebody asked, where's your moringa? Oh, it's here, and I'm using it all the time. This goes in my green drink. I'm actually taking in more than I need right now, washing it, drying it in a strainer, and then freezing a lot of it. So in the winter, if it's not here, and it did stay green all last year, I have the leaves to add into my green drink. Okay, that tote's got to go, but that's celery. I think, that's really one of the oldest ones there. It's probably about 6 years old. I'm thinking that eventually a lot of these won't be here. This is where Gary's going to set up his dragon fruit plants here. The whole wall, I gave it to him, will be his. But, this year I planted the tomatoes. So I've got these tomatoes growing here. I've got Malabar spinach, which I absolutely put in my green drink. This is the green sorrel I've grown for years. I'll move a lot of that when he's ready. Here's purslane. Here's the seeds. See the seeds? They look like chia. Got to be careful with this. I did a video on this. This can be very toxic to your dogs and cats if they eat it. So you've got to be aware of it. But I did not plant it in here. It just comes up everywhere. And here is the midnight snack. And you know what? We've been eating it. This could use a little grooming. It's all the brown leaves. How beautiful. Bought that at Armstrong and it's doing really good. But he's getting his plant situated, and when he gets time, he's going to clear it. He's going to put his dragon fruit here. And the goal is to have this entire wall dragon fruit. And then if it works out, he'll continue on down the wall until we get to the butterfly garden. But all in all, I still have Swiss chard. I've got all types of the onions growing, which is my walking onions and garlic chives, all on the bottom. Here too, I just come out here and I forage onions. I even put sow thistle in my green drink. Wild sow thistle that the birds eat. What do we do with brown leaves? Drop it back in and we make our own soil. But I do pick that and put that in my green drink. Nasturtiums, didn't plant it, came up on its own. Did not get to this at all. But there's still food here. Swiss chard, onions, garlic chives, celery. Now this is the butterfly garden. Look at this. Now it's kind of, I've seen it greener, so I don't want to say it looks bad, but it could look better, but it's been so hot. So it's kind of struggling with the heat. Believe it or not, I think Gary's going to do a video on it. That wall does not get hot. So the plants are not suffering because of that. They get a lot of reflective light, and he'll explain why it doesn't get hot. But again, it's hot right now. In the fall, even though the sun is going to come back that way, it will get more sun later on. This will green up really nice. But all in all, it's okay. Still thinking if I'm going to get rid of the avocado tree. I have so many trees, like the apple trees from seed, and all you do is water them and you get no fruit. If I do a small investment and let's say get something, oh, I see a baby lizard back there. You know, invest a little money, I can get some really nice trees that will give me fruit right away. Look at the first baby lizard. Oh my gosh. That's a treat for you and me. Hi, baby. Oh my gosh. That's the first I've seen this year. Oh, there's a big one back there too somewhere. And here's the red cannas, and the hummingbirds love it. That's why I want to get more cannas around here. You can eat them. I don't eat them. I think Gary eats whatever part you're supposed to eat. But I grow them for the hummingbirds, and they love them. And there's the seed pods. Let me tell you, there's all kinds of ways to process the seeds so they grow. I don't process anything, and they grow. So that's everything that's going on here. There's the chairs. I don't know why I say that all the time. Well, they are a chair. You can sit in there. But these are the cars that came from Circuit City. And finally, I've got tomatoes. Now, this is an interesting tomato. See if we can get back there. I'm going to pick one. These are the pear tomatoes, but they're more orange because they're hybrids. So they're doing good now. I've got a bunch through here, all through here. They'll get more sun, like I said, as the days are changing. The sun's going to come across, so they'll get more sun, and they'll be perfect for the fall. Should get lots there. More purslane. Look at this. Oh, I got tomatoes here too. I didn't even plant it. Didn't plant the purslane. That I want to move. I don't even think that's got holes. That was storing some soil for me, and then it started to grow, so I'll leave it right now. Red vein sorrel. Another thing that's wonderful to grow in the garden, but you don't make a full salad of it. It can draw calcium from you. You want to just use a little bit in your salad. And then there's the green, did I say purslane? No, sorrel. No, I think I said it right. This is the red vein sorrel. Let's start over. And I just love going in there and yanking out all the brown leaves and dropping it back. Creates your own soil that's living. There's the green sorrel. And then again, walking onions through here. And look. I told you the story on this. So last year, where's the steak? Well, this is the San Marzano, but I had the tomato. I don't see the original steak. I grew a whole bunch of San Marzanos. I bought the plant. Then I collected the seeds. They didn't grow, but one plant grew, and this is what grew, which means this is the seeds I want to collect. So whatever happened, why the seeds didn't grow, I don't know, but I got one plant, and now I'm getting the tomatoes. So that's really cool. You know what? Let's go this way because we're here. Look at all this here. This has been phenomenal. Out in the open. We're early in the morning. Like I said, I want to do this before it gets hot. Full sun, and I can't believe there is so much lettuce I have to move them around. I come here and I work here in the morning when it's shady, like now. This I'll talk about soon. This is iceberg lettuce. But anyways, I come here and I work here on my table. I get the lettuce there, and then they get so big I have to move them. And I'm trying to figure out where to put them all. I mean, anytime we want a big salad, believe you me, these were tiny a week ago, and look how big they are. Look at these. I don't know if you've seen some of the videos. These I just planted. Oh, my lavender is starting to take off. It's still in the paper cup. It's just there to give it sun. Look how gorgeous this is. And you know what? No whitefly, no cabbage butterflies. They don't like the plastic flowers. They fly by. See, this isn't even covered. This one's going to bolt soon. They fly by, and that means it's going to go to seed, and that's okay. And they're confused because this will probably it's going to give a smell off. And it's like, well, that's not the right scent. They're not looking for that, so they keep going. Look at this. Now, this one could be a culprit. There could be a problem in here. I should put a couple down there. But they probably come through here and smell this and think this isn't right. I've got some walking onions down there in the milk carton. But this is the oldest. This has been sitting here for about 4 or 5 months already. This is ridiculous. So I've got to get those eaten and get a new set in there. I don't know if I can put lettuce down there. I probably can't unless I tool it because I have rabbits. And that's just like, here, look, I made you a salad. So I'm not sure yet. Look, is this not gorgeous? Nothing's bothering it. Again, I've got the plastic and silk flowers here. And just get them anywhere. Go to a thrift store. You can buy them by the box cheap because they sell a lot of these plastic silk flowers online. I think Walmart does. I'm sure other stores do too, because people do wedding parties in their yard. They have different affairs, and then they want to put the flowers stuck all over their garden to make it look colorful and nice. So you can get them for like $1 a piece, I think, $1.50, and you can pick out the style you want. So I just look anytime I see them on sale now, I buy them. But these are just great because it deters a lot of the insects. Look, nothing's touched this. So there's my lavender. This is my oregano, sage. I never thought this one piece would take, but this is the basil. Thyme. I've never actually, I don't think I've grown thyme like this before. And then rosemary, which you cannot not grow. And then these are some marigolds I stuck in just because. There's a couple there because I didn't know where to put them. But isn't that cool? I don't even have to cover those with tulle. Nothing's bothering them. So this isn't covered with tulle. This is covered with black tulle. But again, I watch the cabbage butterflies. They don't even know that the tulle is there. They just know that this is a deterrent. So now I put this here because I did have some cabbage. Oh, see, they've been getting, here's one. See that? I don't know if you saw the video that day he came and laid eggs. These things are incredibly fast. They just hatch, and within days they're big. You know, I don't care if they're over here. They can go find someplace else to eat. But she flew by. She laid her eggs that day. I've got it on video. And then when I stuck the flowers in here now, I haven't seen her do it, but the eggs are already there. So I'm going to have to go through it. That's just a leaf. But it was too late by then. But for now, they'll pass on by. Here's my tomato plant. I put in a 5-gallon bucket. Starting to grow tomatoes now. These are the pear tomatoes. Again, from seed that I collected. A little bit off because when I bought them, they were bright yellow. So they did hybridize a little bit. My pizza garden. I gotta make a pizza. I've got the different basil. Look at this. This was not growing good. This is lettuce. This is the problem. I've got too much. And those are babies. They will not get big until they are moved. So I got to get them moved. But this one wasn't doing good. So I put a bunch of plastic flowers around to give it the sunshade, because once the sun moves and it's here, this gets hot. This gets hot, the wall does not. And it wasn't doing good, mainly from the sun, not the heat. Now that it's got the plastic flowers here, it creates shade on the base, and it's doing fabulous. Garlic chives. There's the sage I took the cuttings from. This is holy, I think this, let me see. I think it's holy basil. Let me see. Because one is basil, one is mint. Yep. This is holy basil. This is an Indian mint. There's my oregano. It doesn't do really good up here for some reason. It could be the heat. And then that is rosemary, but some of it broke off, landed on the ground, and it's doing really good, the oregano. So we leave it. The milkweed, I cut back a little bit, and then I've got more sage back there. Again, rosemary, just take a branch off, take all the leaves off the bottom, stick it in a pot, and you're good to go. So I am working in here. Oh, these. You know, I have to do a video on how, this is purslane. See the red stem? I don't want it. Now, why do I pull it out when it's coming up in my pots? Because it's going to pull the nutrients, that probably is too, from the plants. I want the plants to grow, not the purslane. I don't need that much. So anyways, I have a unique way of planting seeds. It's very odd. Oh my gosh. But I'm growing millions of them now. So let me know if you want me to show you. It's kind of ridiculously easy, and it's not the way that anybody else does it. So anyways, that's what I'm doing there. And then Gary wants some of these. These are the jesters, and they have the red stem. And they grow into, well, here's one. I brought it over here because I replanted it in its own pot. And I need to collect the seeds off of here and get them growing. Isn't that cool? And then, oh, there's the dog kennel. Maybe we'll do the dog kennel separate. Look at the lettuce. Unbelievable. And lettuce in there too. That one's in full sun. It's going to bolt, and I'm going to let it bolt. It's in the white trash can from Walmart. Maybe we'll take a quick peek. But here I have to get to all this. I've got so much to do in here, and I'm just going to go at my pace. I mean, this is crazy. You got a one-man show here. No help, no hired help at all. And I just do what I can. Look at the pepper. Oh my goodness. I've got so many peppers. Let me show you another one. This is the geranium cutting I got years ago. It was a tiny little piece. Oh my gosh. Now I've got dozens of plants all over the place. I think Gary's got these. This is spiky. Ouch. There's your finger lime. Gary picks them when he sees them. Again, it was struggling, having problems here. This is that curly leaf, frilly basil. Put some, any flowers. I was going to say purpley pink plastic flowers, but it just shaded the base, and now it's doing fantastic. It just needed that little bit of natural shade. Why? Because if you put something over it, it's got full shade. It wants sunlight, but it wants it to go over the leaf slowly, and it works perfect. Look at this. This plant, I was going to take it out. It was so bad in the beginning of the season. It just popped back. It's old already. Look at the trunk, how old it is. And it's just full. Again, these are the ones I got from Walmart and planted, so they're kind of like different. Even if I plant all of them that are, let's say, yellow, I end up with orange and reds, kind of really mixed, and it's really cool because it's exciting. You never know what's going to end up coming. And then here again, I tried some lettuce back here, but see, they don't grow that good back here. I want to get the weeds out. Just pull them and drop them back in here. There's another little pepper plant. So there's 2 in here. There's 2 in here. There's 2 in this one. Then I've got 1 in here. And see, this one burned. And that's from the heat of this wall at night. Right now it's cold, but at night it gets really hot. I got to get this one staked up. That's why I keep these sticks. And I try to keep them where I can just kind of stick them in. This is just sticks off of plants. Look at, now the plant's up. Look, there's a geranium back here. Probably doesn't like the warmth. It's a little yellowish, but all in all, everything's okay. Potato mint. Oh, I'm trying to get Gary to take his potato mint. They're all over. They grow here like mad. This is full sun. It loves the heat. So he's leaving this one. Years ago, I had to cover it because a rabbit would sit in here and eat it. I don't have to put tulle right now because whatever rabbit took a liking to it is probably not here anymore. Malabar spinach in the back. It's going to go up. There's the citrus trees. There's the big rosemary bush that Gary cut back. I'll do a separate one on the dog kennel because I've got the before and after. This is doing phenomenal. And even though it's only tooled on the bottom and they can get through the top, see, this one's not doing as good, the purple one. It's too sunny and I should get more plastic flowers around it. But look at all the different tomatoes. I've got, 6 different types in here. Unbelievable. Oh my gosh. I'll have to do a separate one on that. What do you want to know about it in case I do a separate? Maybe there's something particular you want to know. But this has open on the top, tooled on the bottom, just to kind of slow things down. Will it stop everything? Of course not. There was a hole chewed in the corner and I wanted you to see I patched it with the turquoise tool. Whatever chewed the hole didn't come back. Do you tell me why? I don't know, but I think that's funny. But anyways, it works. And I figure with tomatoes, though we do get things in there, I want the orioles to come in here and grab hornworms. So they can get in there. There's a couple sticks in there for them to land on. I've got peppers in there. You saw the basil. I don't even remember what else there is. I think there's some pot marigold. But we'll talk about that separately. Here I had all that garlic growing. And see, here's the last of the garlic and died back because of the heat. It doesn't grow this time of the year, but in the meantime, I'm putting little walking onions all through here. I didn't pull them all out unless Gary used them on his. I heard a bird. Oh, see the orioles? He's up there. Look, look, look. I don't know if you can see him. He's way up there. Where is he? Is that not cool? He wants me to leave because he's going to come in here through the top, that big, beautiful hooded oriole, and he's going to come in here and pull off all the little hornworms. This is why I love working with nature, because I don't use any spray. Can you imagine even the non-toxic spray, as they say it's non-toxic? It's not. If he picked let's say a hornworm and fed it to his babies, they would perish. Now I know here everything is raw. Everything is natural. So he comes in, he collects the hornworms, brings them back to his babies, and I know they got babies because they keep bringing them in the kitchen window, and I don't have to worry. And if, you know what, if there's a few hornworms, that's okay. if a few make it, that's the cycle of life. Because if we don't have any hornworms, then we don't have the oriole that's up there. Because the oriole is here to feed on all the critters that I don't want in my garden. So it works perfect. So anyways, going back to this, I'm going to keep planting the walking onions in here right now. I keep my little fork here. I get them from Walmart, like a 3-pack for $1 something. And this is a flower, I think. But this is Malabar spinach. It came up in a pot, and I thought, you know what? I'll put it here, let it grow all over the place. I can train it. Well, it's already trained itself. Stick it in like that. Look how pretty. And I use leaves, and then later on, when it dies back in the winter, if it does, take it all down and then put something else in there. This is phenomenal. These are my zinnia seeds. You know why this is crazy? I put these in here 3 days ago. They came, actually on the 3rd day, yesterday I found them. They were popping up everywhere. I planted a marigold, a couple of them, but then these came up. I just pushed them in there and I couldn't believe how quick they came up. It's like I had some lettuce I grew. There was some iceberg. In 2 days they came up. Unbelievable. I bought the seeds on eBay. I got them right away, put them in, and then 2 days later they're already growing. Well, that's the way my marigolds, here's my marigold. I'm sorry, zinnias. Here's my zinnias. I collected them. I grow them. This is in a 5-gallon bucket. And I keep the seeds. I have 2 different ways of growing them. The conventional way is collecting the seeds. I came out here the other day and I spread them all over in the one edge. I put some here, obviously too many, and then I put some here. Notice this. I ran it here. Do you see this? This is good because I haven't even looked. You move the plastic flowers and what do you see? All these. Why? Because this is the way nature would be. This is exactly the way it would grow in nature. The seedlings come up under other plants. And this is the foster parent taking care of the seedlings because it's creating the shade it wants. This is too hot. They didn't come up here. These must be getting the shade from this way and from here, so those came up there. This is why plastic flowers and silk flowers work, because it's doing something natural. Working on getting rid of all this and using it. I'm using all this. But you know, this is what's going on in the garden. This is going to change up. The milkweed I'm planting, I pull it out of the ground and I'm putting it in pots because I'm going to move it around. So I've got one there. I'll probably get that out. I'm not going to do potatoes anymore. It was a waste of doing them in 5-gallon buckets. Just for all the time it took, I could have grown something else without any effort at all. So I think I'll just do something else in here, which I think will be exciting if it works. I've got plans. But oh, and the pepinos. I want to do more pepinos. I have finally mastered pepinos. So I've got them all in there. We've been picking them. I've got another bundle on the other side. I know now how to pick them and how to cure them so they taste like you're eating a melon. Because everybody says what to do, but if I found that there's more to it. So I'm doing that. I'll have to do a separate video on that. And then this is just, I want to do something in here. This one's covered in 1/4-inch wire. This is the dog kennels I love. It's 6 foot tall, 8 foot long, 4 foot wide. And I can stand in here. This is terrible because I've got all this dead space and I need to fix this up so I can get more lettuce in here. Right now I'm doing seedlings. These are my cucumbers I planted. Oh my gosh. See, I don't want this. This is all purslane coming up. The problem is it's going to take from the plant. But even though it's toxic to dogs and cats and not to us, it's wonderful for us in a way. There's a lot that they're not telling you. And Gary might do something on that. The point is it will draw from my plants. So when I see it, I got to pull it. Otherwise, it will create a big root system in there and take from my plants. And this is Korean melon. And I did plant one. Oh, this one's doing good. I've got to get that planted. And I use these. There's no holes in here right now. So if I need to, I can water from the bottom. And right now I'm using the dish pans. This is a Sterilite 12 quart. Absolutely love these to get my seedlings growing. More Malabar spinach. Decided to let it do its thing and it went out the wire. Isn't that cool? Oh, it's going up. Oh, it's going to wrap around my camera. This is okay, but it's a novelty. It was a bird feeder. It's too tight and it's not right for lettuce. See how tight they are? It's just not the right setup. And that's what I'm learning myself. The perfect setup. There are setups that won't work. You could go do everything right and the lettuce won't grow. If you do it right, you could end up with tons of lettuce. So this is not right. Maybe I'll put some flowers in there next time. I'll leave it for now. And then of course, all the lettuce leaves I didn't get to, you want to compost all that one way or another. But if they're not set up in the right conditions, lettuce, you get these really stiff, which is still good to eat, thick leaves. And I think you're looking for something a little bit more supple and beautiful and wonderful tasting. But it's good. I think next time flowers. I've got to get these planted. I only have one Mexican papaya that made it. That's this one. And then these are my strawberry papayas. Gary told me he was going to take it. He did not. So I guess I'm going to have to plant it. And then these came up, the tomato. I'm going to leave it. This is another purple tree collard. This is in a pot. These are cuttings, so I can move that at any time. And there's purslane. I'll leave that right now because I can use it in my green drink. But boy, be careful if you plant it because you can't get rid of it. This is also, I marked it. This is also my Korean melon. These are seeds I saved. They're about 6-7 years old and they're still going strong. Look at this, see? Purslane. There are 3 lettuce in here. If there was 1, it would be really big. But there's 3, but that's okay. Look at the leaves. See how soft? This tastes wonderful. That one does not. It's the way it's growing. And then once you start to work with your plants, you will learn that. More cuttings from geraniums. One little one in there. Actually, there's 2. There's a little one on the side. Yeah, so that's not right. Wrong setup. And this, I could cut it and use all this. Perfect for a salad. But I think I'm going to let this one go to seed, put it out for the birds to eat, and then plant it because it's easy to move. It's just a 1.5 gallon trash can. All right, let's get out of here. Celery on the ground. This is Malabar spinach trying. I don't know if I'll move it or keep it. Let me close this. We don't want a rabbit to go in there. And that's my big thyme plant that's now going on 2 years old. All right, so I think we should go to the front yard because here you've seen it's the same. I've got zucchini. You know, I keep picking and I can't keep up with them. Just picking and picking. Oh my gosh. This, I believe, are the tomatillos coming up. I threw a whole bunch that were in the freezer out here and now they're coming up. This is the plant I got in front of Harbor Freight. Oh my goodness. Look at this. I picked the zucchini. Oh, I picked one. Ay, ay, ay. Look at that. Got to get that one off. I got to process more and get them frozen for the winter. I really do before there isn't any. There'll be more on this one soon. This one is starting to take off, but it is struggling a little bit. Why? Because I didn't take this out. This is a brassica that's absolutely gorgeous. I also have a pepino growing in here. So they are struggling a little bit. There's a ladybug, see? This is what we want. We want our ladybugs. And he can get out. He can go up when he wants because it's open on the top. There's a little bit of root competition in there. So I really don't know if I want to pull them out because here's the thing. That's only going to last 3 months, let's say. This will last a year. This will last years. These are pepinos. So I don't want to pull something out that's going to give me food for many, many years because that's a cutting that I put in here. This could go for years too to get rid of that when I'll have this all winter and into next year. So I'm just going to leave it. Whatever happens, happens. It's no loss. And then here's a zinnia coming up in the back I planted. Again, another one. This is the one that was in there. It was struggling and dying. I lifted it out and replanted it in here. It's still a little bit wonky, but I think it's going to make a comeback. And then there's a lot of weeds. We want to get rid of weeds because the weeds can get a big, massive root system and then kind of take from the plant. More zinnia is coming up. The water feature, I don't know why it's not on yet, but sometimes it doesn't go out until a certain time of the day. Dog kennel. I really need to do one on the inside. Cucumbers coming out of my ears. We can take a quick peek, but we'll do this separate. Otherwise, we'll be here for hours. As you can see, we have cucumbers. And I try to pick them quick, because if you don't pick them quick, like this one, has to come off today. If you leave them, the plant gets a signal that it's done. And sometimes when you take off the big cucumbers, it may not make a comeback. But when you take them off and hope for the best, oh, that came off easy. We'll have that tonight. It might say, oh, the seeds didn't quite make it. We got to try again. And that's what you want it to do. So this one can come off. I'll get that off, but I've got a lot of different things. This is the new one you just saw. I showed you in the dog kennel the little ones. I planted that a few days ago. Look how it took off. It's still in the paper cup. I want it in the paper cup. I took the bottom out. It's going to send its roots in there, and I might put a little bit of compost on the top. Here's another one I put here. That's a Korean melon. And then what else is in here? Oh, let's see. There's my watermelon. Getting close. Look at that. I've got it sitting on a glove. This so it's not on the soil. Look at that. I'll leave it there. Let me grab my cucumber. I think for now, I'll put it here. I'm composting in here. I've got to get cuttings off of that. And then more zucchini and tomatoes. And so this is what, and the eggplant. I haven't seen the eggplant yet, but it's flowering. There's the tomatoes. I have to set this up differently. I don't want it like this. But again, I haven't gotten to it. It doesn't matter. I'm growing food everywhere, and that's all that counts. Got another zucchini up here in a pot, and then on the bottom, so it can send its roots from here into there and on the bottom. And then this is the indigo drop cherry tomatoes, and they're just full in there. Hopefully they'll grow all winter. All right, so let's get out of here. Purple tree collard, it's not in there. There's a eggplant there, it's growing in there. Just the cutting I did and it's taken off, which I think I'm going to leave in here. Tomato in a 12-quart dish pan. Is that not beautiful? There's two. There should only be one in here, but for now I'll leave it. All right, now I think, oh gosh, now, you know, be careful what you wish for. I wanted a bunch of zucchini, and I've been just picking zucchini like mad, which I love and I will use all winter. I have also noticed, look at all the pomegranates here, that our eating habits change. So in the winter we eat different things, so I freeze a lot, and sometimes we're not eating when I froze, not as much as I should, because our eating habits changed. So it's kind of like, how much should I really freeze? Though in case we need it, I will. All right, let's go into the front yard and then into the bird garden. We are now in the front yard. I love it. I don't have to do anything but water it. Look at this. Got a giant brassica here. It looks like a tree collard. It's probably a hybrid. Got all my geraniums growing. I've got different mints, walking onions, garlic chives, all this growing through here. Celery, I don't have to do anything. Just hit it with water. Then the dish pans, I still want to get to those good. But you know, some of you have asked me, can you grow brassicas in there? You betcha. This is from last year. Look at all the beautiful leaves. Groom it better. Get rid of the seed pods if you're not feeding birds, and you'll have major size leaves for eating. This is one type of brassica. Again, a hybrid. See how soft and green the leaves are? Where this is a different one. It's just hybrids. So when the seeds grow, you never know what you're going to get. But again, there's so many plants in here, and the seed, you know, when they come up, the seed heads form, the leaves will be small. Now that one had seed heads, it was done, so the next set of leaves should be bigger. And then here, this is the zucchini. It's planted in there, but it leaned over here, and I think I picked this one already. Yep, I did. But we already have more flowers starting. That's a male flower. Then I've got my red vein sorrel. I've got walking onions here. Now this is special to me. I only took 3 pieces of geraniums. You can see there's 3 of them in there. And each one is different. I've got the mother plant and the father plant and the baby plant, which is the ones here. I've got the pink. They're not all flowering. There was a red one. So the red one and the pink one cross-pollinated, probably by a moth at night, grew this one that grows the salmon one. It's very salmony, but the mother or one of them is light pink and the other one is red. So now I took cuttings off of that. See how different they are? They're a lighter pink and the other one is salmon. And I have all 3 in this one pot. And I did it while I was growing here. There I'm composting in place in a pitcher. And I'm feeding this zucchini is the reason it's doing so good because of that. Because any weeds we don't want, when you pull them out, the best thing to do, and I've got a whole video on how to set it up, is you throw it in there, you close it up, kind of turn it where water will get in there, And then nothing, no critters can get in there. So you could throw kitchen scraps in there. Again, go watch the video. But you can water it and keep everything alive in there. In other words, the microbes or earthworms if they find their way. And it feeds the plant. Look how beautiful this is. It's making a comeback. So that looks so beautiful. And then this one I just picked. I picked it actually last night and I left it here. I'll come back and get it. And I'll use that for dinner or whatever. Or I'll slice it up and freeze it. Here I've got walking onions in this dish pan. I've been picking all the little babies I find. As soon as I find babies that are ready to come off. And I plant them in here. You can just see them starting to come up. And then I've got here also, these are walking onions. And then I've got walking onions back there. I might set up more dish pans here and grow, because I've got them. I've got the dish pans. And grow maybe more things over here, like walking onions. This is just turmeric coming up. Garlic chives, another turmeric. This is celery, it's gone to seed. I've got the Hummingbirds lunch, more walking onions, garlic chives. So there's a lot going on. I've got plenty of room here. And then that used to be my main table for ginger and turmeric. Not anymore. Now it's just, there's too much and I don't want to overcrowd it. You put too many and have a big jungle, they're up against the wall. I'll have rodents trying to get to it. So we all have rodents. Look, they're really prevalent in the city. Like, let's say the city of Los Angeles, Orange County, everybody's got it. The point is, we want to try to deter them. And when I make a big field of turmeric in there, they'll come in there once in a while and nibble. So having space around it, they're a little bit nervous because even a hawk can come sit here and watch. And so they don't like the open space, just like they don't like the open space here. So it works. And I kind of want to have them all over. So this is working really, really well. And Gary's been battling squirrels and all different things with his apples. We've got these other things we use for bigger fruits. Let's go down here. And, oh, I didn't even see this. It just came. What they are is they're little wire baskets. I'll tell you something. I still prefer tulle because the holes are still big enough for some little rodent to come suck on the fruit. But I've got different methods you can use this with, even if you wrapped it in tulle and this. But I'm just a tulle lover. But it's just another option because it's kind of a wire. Okay, there they are, dish pan. You know, this one I don't know. It's not as happy as these. So we'll kind of see what happens. But I have so much. When you've got this much turmeric growing, you don't have to worry about every single one. You know, I want you to see the birds, but the moment I open the gate, they're going to move. I've got like 100 spice munias, the spice finches in there, and they're eating right now the lemon verbena, along with the seed we put out. Oh, look. I don't know if you can see them. Hold on. Where'd he go? He's there. He's calling me. He probably let's walk over here. I can't worry about him. It's a pintail white. He's here all the time. There's Gary's garden. He's been doing dragon fruit every few nights and he's got so much going on. You know what? I haven't been down to his garden in weeks. Probably almost 2 months. Oh my goodness. And this whole hillside, I know you can't see it from this side, is elephant food. This, my friends, is edible. And it doesn't matter if your dogs eat it, because in different countries, they use this for animal feed. So this is great to grow. It's a wonderful succulent. Here it is. They say it's very hard to get it to flower. Okay, well, we get it to flower, but there's no reason to plant the seeds because it's the easiest thing to propagate. Let me tell you real quick. I think we have a full video on it. It'll be older. The first thing Gary did when we got this property years ago is there was some elephant food around here, and he started breaking off pieces, and he did the entire hillside. Not only the hillside, but out front, everywhere, and here, and it makes a great hedge. Right now, he's trying to make this a hedge here. He loves it because doing research, this has got a lot of vitamins and nutrients in it, but the main thing is it's 100% safe for animals and us, and this is why he loves it so much. And it just grows great here, and it's drought tolerant. a passion fruit plant. He's got too many. Oh, look, it's going to flower again. So you think we don't have enough? We've got hundreds of passion fruit in the house. But he eats quite a few every day, and he makes well, I make popsicles for him. Let me close the gate just to try to keep the rabbits out. Ha ha. They find their way in. Here's the bird garden. This is my favorite place. It really is. I try to come here every day and sit, even in the afternoon if I can. Oh, look, that's a little spice finch. Oh, no, they're all coming in. Oh, I know why. They finished their feed. Okay, we'll get some more seed out here. Let's just talk about the garden. This I planted, it's over a year old. This was nothing, it took off. This one broke. You've seen it each garden tour. I'm leaving it because it's still attached. Even though it's broke, as long as there's the tiniest thread attached, it's pulling water and it's still growing. I'm using the leaves on this one. And if a rabbit gets in, they're more than welcome to nibble on it until I decide to chop it up and compost it. I've got different flowers in there. It's not in my way. It's very natural. I mean, think about it. In the wild, things will break. They'll still be hanging on and they'll still be growing. So I can do it too if they can do it, right? Nature does it. Why not me? I'm mainly doing it because of laziness. I mean, I want to chop it up and compost it, but I'm thinking let it do its thing and I'll grab it when I need it. In the meantime, this is still attached. Look how it's curving and it's still growing. Maybe I'll just chop it there and let it do its thing that way afterwards. And I'm harvesting the leaves. I use the tender leaves for stir fries, adding into different dishes and putting in my green drink, so it's going to stay. This is lemon verbena, which the birds eat the seeds, and there are some seeds on it. They flower, a little tiny flower, and it's doing fantastic. We've got a lot of dragon fruit now. He's been hand pollinating. Look at that, it's like a jungle. This is amazing. This is getting so much water because it's just, I come here and I really fill this big pot up that this is chia seed. Isn't that cool? Look how big it is. I mean, look at it. It's huge. And it's doing great. And it's growing in with this little moringa tree. There's a small one here. It's coming from the bottom. And then here's my moringa tree here. So I got moringa everywhere. Sometimes I forget to say. And then here's the top of the tree. Should be trimmed. But you know what? The birds use this as a perch. You can see. Because they're pooping here and sitting here. They really like this because they can sit up. They're all coming in. Oh my gosh. These birds have trained us well, and I like it. So for now I can leave it. Because once you chop it out, this is another, oh my goodness, this is I think this one flowered too, a pomegranate in a pot that I grew from seed. It looks very much like the lemon verbena. That's why I put it here. See, this is the lemon verbena that smells wonderful and makes a great tea. This does not. It's a pomegranate, but that's okay. And it's on a tree stump, so it can't escape from me right now, and I can decide later where I really want to put it. But these birds do have me trained well. But I kind of want to have it more jungly for the birds. It's very dark, so I think it's hard for you to see right now. The sun is coming up, but it's behind the trees. So it's better to see it when there's a little bit more light. Let's turn around and see what we missed. My totes that are like 10 years old. I've got all these old upside down planters. You can't even buy them anymore, and they weren't worth the money. Of course, I only paid $2.50 for them. But that's the only reason I've got them. But a dishpan is far better than this. I got walking onions. I've got different Swiss chard in here. I've got geraniums. I've got mint. I even have a pepper over here in a pot for over a year. Look at this. It's just silly. More walking onions in there. But it's here, and I'm going to leave it right now. And then I've got mint. I've got orange mint back there, and then chocolate mint running through here. And this is another cufia for the hummingbirds, bat face, in a pot, in the tote, so things can be moved. I like putting things in pots because this way I can move it when I need it. Okay, give me a minute when I'm done. That's a towhee, California towhee. I will feed them again. It's, believe you me, we go through, Gary buys hundreds of pounds of food, and we get parakeet mix, the best. He puts out sunflower, both small and big. So the big birds can have the big seeds, the small birds can have the small one. And then what else? Finch mix. We get some extra millet. And it's just, they know it. So why wouldn't they come here? They get the best food. But this is the bird garden, and I'm slowly trying to change it. I want to lift the canopy so you can see underneath in case there's any snakes. We do have snakes. I come out here carefully. Let me back up. I have never had a rattlesnake in this yard. Gary's got it fenced in the back. They don't seem to go back there because it's lifted up. I can't get back there right now. He's building another stairway for me to get back there. But there's a wall back there. So we've never had a snake come through this way. But what we do have is they come through that way, and the only one that comes through is a gopher snake, and he likes living in here. So I'm kind of going through the garden about a week ago, I think it was, maybe a couple weeks ago. Again, this is multiple times, and I'm looking to make sure I don't step on a rattlesnake and keeping my eyes open, and I've got to make sure I wear pants. You don't want to run around barefooted when you got snakes around because they can feel the heat and they can attack. The clothes, they'll just wait. They'll curl up and just wait. But when you've got no shoes on and an exposed leg, they feel the heat, they feel the warmth, they think it's food, and they could attack. But I'm always in pants and tennis shoes, and I should wear boots. Going through here, and what do I step on? A 5-foot gopher snake. Because I was looking on the sides, and I wasn't looking in front. So I got to be really careful. And he gets mad when I step on him. I mean, I jump back. I didn't hurt him, but it's just so silly. Anyways, this is going to be just cleaned up a little bit. I can't do it overnight because it would drastically probably upset the birds. So I want to trim more of this back. You know why I don't do it? Because every single branch I trim, I can grow. And it bothers me when I have to compost some purple geraniums or the kufiyas that the hummingbirds love, or the salvias. I propagate everything because all this growing in the garden all started. Yes, I know you want food too. I know you've got food. I don't know what you want from me. Oh my goodness. He's got food, but he can only eat out of certain bowls. Let me show you him. He's got that tail that's like 10 inches long. The thing is, there's only certain bowls he can eat out of, like open bowls. So he can eat out of the purple. Anything open he can get into. Anything closed, like it's got cages over it, he can't get into. So he wants to make sure, look, there's food in here. He wants to make sure that his bowls are all full, and he lets me know. And he's tame. Could you imagine people that have these things for pets? They are tame. And here, we don't need it, thank goodness, cage anything. Of course, we do put cages out, don't we? Because it protects the birds from predators. But the point, oh my gosh, they're coming in everywhere. I think that's a cowbird up there. They hear me talking, so they know, oh, she must be here and she's going to put more food out. Now, of course, when we put it out, there's going to be something that they like better. Finch mix is exactly what it says. Finch mix. Boy, it's so dark. So that means that there's different types of small seeds in there. And let's say he might have a fetish for red millet. Another one may want some oats. So they come in and they get their favorite seeds. So that's what they want. I'll feed them as soon as I'm done. We're almost done here. Look at them. They're all coming in. You can't see them, but there will be like hundreds all through here tucked away waiting for me. They've got their water. They've got multiple seed feeders even hidden where you may not even notice there's seed. So, and I just put this one up. It's crazy. This is new, but I need a better container. This is just, oh, they finished this. A cage here for them to sit on. And I need a better bowl for that one. This one's not enclosed. I could enclose it, but I'm going to leave it right now. We got hanging feeders. So they know where every feeder is. And he just wants something. Like I said, it could be a specific seed in there. There's Niger seed. There's so many types in there that every bird is like, people are going to have their favorite seed. And so if I put food out, he'll come right away and get what he wants. And then well, he's in charge. With that tail, they're all afraid of him. They don't know what that tail is. So they all get out of his way. Notice he is by himself up there. So anyways, this is my favorite garden. Cleaning this up, want to trim it back. And like I was saying, every cutting, every branch I cut off. Gary said you have to just cut and turn your head and compost. I know I can grow, and I end up with all these plants, and I give them away and stuff. But the point is I don't want to just chop them and drop them. Certain plants, yes. hold on. Brassicas, yes. But these are so beautiful. Oh, look at my obelisk. I did the whole video on that. Look at this. I just moved this and I set it up completely different, and it's kind of set up wonky because it was not all there. I got it cheap, though you can buy these with the bird on top. And the plant is so excited that I changed things around that it's bursting in the flower of my fuchsia. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. Maybe I should put the video up because I put it in there not in the way you would normally grow it. Sweet potatoes, I've got to get them planted. I'm still trying to clean up here. So this is the bird garden. Too wild, though I don't want to trim anything right now because like here comes the sun. Because the thing is, it's going to be very hot. This is August 1st. I don't know if I said that in the beginning. Oh my goodness, August already. The point is, it will be hot all through August, all through September, and we can be hot with heat waves all through October. And this is all shelter with the water and the plants, and it will keep them cool. So that's why I go ahead and I leave this as long as I can. But I am starting to trim back. This is all broke from the band-tailed pigeons that come in here now. We've actually seen a dozen of them. They're supposed to be not friendly. They're actually supposed to be very shy and hide up in the trees. Yeah, well, they haven't read the book, which says that. Oh, look at this. I'm so excited. Look at this. This is my papaya I planted down there. It's in a pot, but no bottom, but I've got another pot on top I layer to make sure the pot on the top always has water, and it's watering this good, and this is doing fantastic. And that's why I got to trim this back because I want this papaya to go up. I think it's going to be gorgeous to have papayas like I have on the other side of the yard here. And those are going to go out soon because they're like 5 or 6 years old. So I'm really excited about that. I want to get more papayas. Maybe I'll get another one in here. Haven't even thought about that. Can't see my water feature. That's why I haven't set up my second one yet. What, a year ago, Gary bought me the ball for my birthday. And I haven't set it up because we haven't figured out where to put it. I can't even see the one that's back there I bought that one on my birthday too, but many, many years ago. So I've got to start trimming and organizing this a little better. Here's borage. This is what Gary had me plant for him. I'm not overly impressed. He loves it. He's got a whole bunch of them in his yard. In his garden, I planted him from seed. I kept one and I'm like, a little hoverfly. I don't know if you can see him. Those are wonderful. They pollinate my cucumbers. They go through the 1/4-inch wire on the dog kennel. I don't know if we can zoom in. And they're just great pollinators. And that's what the borage is for. And though I think you can eat it, don't quote me, it's to bring in pollinators. This was just propagated here. This is a plant I'm taking out. I threw it in there, keep it well watered. It's this one, so I got to get a lot of those trimmings off and get them propagated. That's a weed back there. Oh, looky, looky. More purslane. I don't even have purslane in here. So some bird must have pooped that. And then my blanket flower needs a trimming like today. If I don't trim it back quick, I won't get as many flowers. So I have to go through and take all these off, and you take it off by the second leaf, and then it will burst back into flower. Again, this was brought here by a bird. Nature brought this into my yard. This is a cutting off the original plant. The original plant fizzled out. I think it didn't get watered, and it fizzled out. It was during the time my dad had passed last year, and I wasn't keeping up with everything in here, and it was in a small pot. It dried out. I got some cuttings off of it, but the original plant passed the same time my dad did. So I've got all the cuttings that remind me of that original plant that came up here. But isn't this gorgeous? That is like one of the most beautiful flowers. And to think that you can just do it, as long as you start to get the knack of it, you can get all the cuttings you want off of it. And I've got it growing everywhere now. Absolutely gorgeous. Isn't that beautiful? All right, so we've kind of gone through the whole garden here now. So here it's more open, and I do want to extend. Well, it is extended. I've got a lemon verbena back there. I'm going to bring in another pomegranate in here. I'm going to take it out of the butterfly garden and bring it here and extend the bird garden. See, that's got the big fig trees back there, so it creates shade for the summer. And I could do something here, but I can't really I don't want to put fig trees back here because I've got all the citrus trees back here. But I could continue with more lemon verbena, which I already got one. And I'm going to set it up somewhere here. And I'll have all that here to bring more water features there and make this garden bigger. It's just nice to sit there. But then I've got this swing I can sit here and watch the birds here. So that is the garden. Yeah, I give these one more year, if that. This one toppled the other day almost, and Gary tied it back up for me. So now it's all tied up. He put a couple stakes in there, but they're weak. That's one thing with papayas, and I think they're like that in the wild. Eventually they get heavy, they're hollow on the inside, so they kind of fizzle out. They break to the ground, they compost themselves in place and feed the other plants. But in the meantime, they grow so well that all that fruit would be growing, and you literally, let me step out of the sun because it's getting really hot. You would end up with just a field of papaya plants growing, and it would just go up in the air. So what I did was I planted a broccoli. I've got a broccoli there. I've got milkweed there. Oh, look at this. Marigold I planted. It's been flowering. It went to seed. I've got chia seed back there. And of course, tomatoes. I've got geraniums all around there to protect the base. But it's time to start getting some more papayas in there. And I already know which ones I want to put here. I'd like to put my Mexican papaya in here too. There's the trough. I never did a video on that. I think I did one back in the middle of April or May. I'm planting up my trough. Let's come back and see it. And we never did. Talk about tomatoes. That thing is packed through and through. And this year I only put 2. I didn't want to put, like one year I put 3 in this trough. Got this at Home Depot. And it was too many. Too many is just overcrowding the tomatoes. So now I only put the cherry tomato and a sungold in here. Actually, the cherry tomato was from last year. It was a seedling that came up. And look at this. You can't even see, but it is just packed. And then some of the seedlings got moved there, and that's what you have here, are more of the same. And this is seeds that came up. Remember, we want to, I don't want to break off anything that doesn't want to come off, because the more you break and cut up your tomatoes, the more you are going to bring in a problem. So if the plant doesn't want to release its leaves, I leave it, because it will shade the stalk of the plant. It's there for a purpose. I look at it that way. If it doesn't want to come off, leave it. It's not hurting me, and it does really good. Obviously, it does really good. So I hope you enjoyed this. Look at this. This is the only moringa tree that didn't come back this year. I think it is really, you know what? It's green. I don't know why it didn't. I have no idea why it didn't grow. See, it's green in there. Look at that. Never grew. It's well watered. Well, I'll leave it. Maybe next year. Maybe in the winter. But look at this. This is happy. Maybe this one is pulling a lot of nutrients from the moringa. I have no idea. It just didn't come back. Kufias through here, mint through here, garlic chives. This is Gary's room. I don't go in here. It's like a nightmare. This is his thing. This is his man cave. He set that up. We've seen that many times. So I hope you enjoyed this garden tour. I am, no offense, dripping. It is this hot. I don't want to burn out my poor camera. So I'm hoping you enjoyed this. Please leave your comments there. I get to them as quick as I can. I actually go through comments every single day, multiple times a day. I don't have anybody else doing it, just me, and then Gary goes through them too. So sometimes I read them and I think, oh, I got to answer them. But you know what? I could do a video on that better. So sometimes I do that. So please, your comments, your questions, it helps me and it gives me ideas. It makes me think and it gets me going to make more videos. So I hope you enjoyed this again for what, the 5th time. Have a wonderful day. If you're in a hot area, stay cool. And if you're in a cold area on the other side, stay warm. Have a wonderful day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Wow, we're gonna have a ton of papayas. I love these, they're sweet like sugar. Bye-bye. I can't believe this. They're still coming in. And look who's here. Of course. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. Yes, you've got your seed now. They're very friendly though. He might just be talking to me.